And now, please welcome the wordsmith of steampunk, the prognosticator of dreams, the curator of history, and the keeper of the armored postal pigeons, Mr. Airship himself, Jack Tracker, along with his trusty sidekick, Luke Flywalker. They will bring you the Aeronaut Express.
Good evening, everyone. Luke here along with Jack, and we're here for the April edition of the Aeronaut Express podcast. How you doing, Jack?
I am just fit as a fiddle. How are you?
Just about the same. Just hunkered down here and waiting out the stay-at-home orders and trying to practice social distancing.
Right, waiting out your incarceration, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah.
Navigator, welcome.
Hey, Nav, how's it going, bud? Somebody else. Is that Meg?
Yeah, it's Meg. Super duper.
Yeah, hey, this is the biggest audience we've had yet.
That's right.
We've doubled the size of our audience and just on the second podcast. That's pretty good. That's pretty amazing. So, Jack, what's our topics of discussion tonight?
We have topics of discussion? Oh yeah, we do. Well, we're going to talk, for one thing, about the museum exhibit this month, which is the Edge of Space exhibit, which is one of my favorites because there are so many people out in the real world who are building lighter than air vehicles to take their cameras and recorders and various equipment right to the edge of space and bringing it back. And some of it with stuff as simple as a cell phone, which just amazes me.
It's relatively inexpensive too, isn't it?
Well, yeah, all things being relative, for some people it would be pretty spendy. I've seen it done for as little as $300, which is, that's a bit of pocket change, but it's not like buying your own citation jet,
Yeah.
I said hi.
Oh,
there you are, Nav.
I got you, Nav.
Yeah.
How you doing, Nav?
Hi, great to have a podcast tonight. I'm going to ask you a question, Jack, on your exhibits after you talk about them a bit. I seem to see a high-altitude capsule up on the hill above us. That's so interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, go ahead and ask if you want.
Yeah,
That's what we're talking about right now.
Is that the one from the 1935 National Geographic high-altitude test, I wonder?
It is, yes. Yeah. That was Explorer 1 and Explorer 2, I think, is what they called that. The first one had some major problems with the envelope and the balloon and had to cut the mission short. But Explorer 2 completed its mission, and there's a lot of really good information about that up on the National Geographic archives. They just won't let me have it. I have to figure out a way to get that stuff because it's very, very cool. That was a very early attempt at high altitude manned flight.
It's so amazing that the technology has been around this long and that they did such progress way, way, way back, and we just haven't seemed to develop ballooning anywhere near where it could be.
Well, certainly not manned ballooning. There has been a lot of work done with, um, the unmanned variety. Those are going up all the time. Uh, but there wasn't that much interest in the manned. I think because it was as a kind of a one-way round trip. What goes up must come down, and that wasn't the focus for a good number of years. Once Jack Kennedy said, "Hey, we're going to the moon," then rocketry became the focus. At least that's the way I see it now. You saw it too. How does it look to you?
Yeah, it was a little unpredictable. It still is unpredictable when you go up in a balloon, isn't it? You
Yeah,
can't nail your departure and return like you can on a jet airliner. That's holding it back. But airships could overcome that difficulty, but airships are too expensive because they can't use hydrogen, good old cheap hydrogen. They've got to buy expendable resource called helium, which is never going to allow
right.
economical airship transportation, darn it. And that could all be changed if we just uh, learned how to accept the safety precautions of hydrogen.
One of the things about this display also is there's quite a bit of footage of Baumgartner's Leap. Yeah, the dogs are wild. Um, Baumgartner's Leap. And it astounds me that he broke the sound barrier with his body. That was just an amazing thing to watch, Stunning.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah, I watched that again the other day, and when he was descending, wasn't there a point when he was just like wobbling and going all over the place before he got
he
control?
was very nearly out of control. Yeah. The other thing about that leap that just floors me is that the guy in mission control helping him break all those records was the holder of all those
Yeah,
records. You know,
yeah, that's
makes you,
amazing.
yeah, makes
It's
you
a
proud.
small fraternity.
Yeah, yeah, it's very
Yeah.
cool.
I don't think
So,
Red Bull is doing much for the furtherance of ballooning, though, by showing how scary it is. It's a
wa-
daredevil thing, according to them.
was it that the ballooning was so scary? It was the altitude he was at that was pretty frightening. He was up there
Yeah,
a long way.
how high did he actually go? What was his?
I don't have that figure in my head. Um, there have been higher balloon flights since then.
It seems like it was 128,000 feet, but
I think that sounds about right.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah, it
sure.
could be around there. I think so.
Hi everyone, Luke here. I'm on location for the shooting of our final segment for part 2 of our April podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in to part 1. There's just too much good conversation in this podcast, and I hated to leave it laying on the cutting room floor. So I decided to release it in 2 parts. Part 2 will be out early next week. We'd like to leave you with an awesome little clip that we shot a couple of weeks ago. Please enjoy the Dead Bull Stratos mission, a Second Life experience. We'll see you soon in part 2. Until then, stay safe and happy flying. Thank you.